I am going to discuss about previous question paper regarding second module. So we have completed the second module. Second module completely deals with the welding operations. So we can go to discuss the previous question papers. So first one, July 2021. In this question, part A, third question, write down any three applications of thermit welding process. Any three applications of thermit welding process. Okay, 3 marks. You have not 3 mark question, you have only 2 mark question in part A. What are the cause of porosity in weld? How it can be controlled? Okay. Then essay questions are, draw a neat sketch of friction welding and explain the mechanism of welding. So you have to draw a neat sketch have mark and explain the mechanism of the friction welding process. Then define weldability, explain the weldability characteristic of stainless steel, copper alloy, tungsten. 8 mark question. Here also you have no 8 mark question, only 6 mark questions in part B. Draw a schematics of various regions in fusion weld zone. Write a note on HA set. Various regions in fusion welding and write a note on HA set. Explain any 4 destructive tests for testing welded joint. See, destructive testing and non-destructive testing, as per syllabus there is not this topic, but there is a chance that it will be asked as out of syllabus. In your syllabus, the destructive testing and non-destructive testing are not mentioned actually. Okay. June 2022. Explain any 2 destructive tests performed on welded joints. What is shielded metal arc welding? SMAW process, welding process. The sketch and explain basic region in typical fusion welded joints. What are the basic region in fusion welded zones? Fusion zone, HA set, unaffected base metal. Okay. How is welding performed in thermit welding process? What are the components in oxy-acetylene welding operation? How is the flame adjusted in gas welding? See, next one is a problem regarding resistance welding process. This problem we have discussed in the class. Resistance flash welding using 30 volt power supply is done to join 2 pipe, each having inner diameter 100 mm and outer diameter 110 mm. At the interface, 1 mm of material melt from each pipe, which have a resistance of 42.4 ohm. If the unit melt energy is 64.4 megajoule per meter cube, find the time required for welding. So we have done several problems regarding resistance welding process. So you have to practice all these problems. There is a chance that one problem will be asking for examination. Okay. Next one is June 2023. What do you mean by weldability and what is the importance? Write down the chemical reaction involved in thermit welding process. So what is the chemical reaction that is involved in the thermit welding process? Explain the various types of flames formed in oxy-acetylene welding process. How does the resistance welding process carried out? What are its advantage and disadvantage? With a neat sketch, explain electroslag welding process. Explain the submerged arc welding process with the help of neat diagram. Okay, so electroslag welding process, submerged arc welding process, resistance welding process, oxy-acetylene welding process. See, all these are important actually, usually asking questions. Next one, May 2024. Discuss the difference between bracing and soldering. Explain the principle of TIG welding, tungsten inert gas welding. Again, submerged arc welding process. Explain submerged arc welding process with the help of neat sketch. Explain the oxy-acetylene welding process. Also, explain its various flame characteristics. Explain any one resistance welding process. Discuss the factors influence weld quality. Explain straight and reverse polarities in arc welding. See, all this we have explained in the class. Okay. The last one, April 2025. Oxidizing flame is desirable during welding of copper alloy. Draw a sketch and explain the principle of arc welding. See, in essay question asked shielded metal arc welding process and the practical applications. Then here, draw a general view and cross-sectional view of torch used in oxy-acetylene welding. See, this is actually blow pipe which is used in the oxy-acetylene welding process. This I didn't discuss in the class. This is the blow pipe. Draw the sketch of the cross-sectional view of the blow pipe which is used in oxy-acetylene welding process. Okay. Draw a neat sketch of resistance spot welding. Write a note on process capability of spot welding. What are the methods for testing defects in weld? Prepare a chart showing any 3 defects in welding and corresponding method of testing defects. Okay. So these are the main important topics in previously university examination questions in 2019 scheme. Okay. So we have completed the second module, discussed the previous question paper. Okay, thank you.